Hey guys, it's another beautiful day in the Pacific Northwest. My name is Giant, and today I kind of want to give you guys an update on my account, some plans I had in mind, and also just a little updated perspective on kind of my previous video. I wanted to start my update also kind of as like a PSA on this equipment page, because my first goal for Gobez was actually to make the +5 Shadow Dragon staff, and in the process of doing that I actually already made a +4 to kind of help contribute to the farm a little more. So I made my +4, and now I was like, okay, what do I need left for my +5? So I looked here, gathered all of the materials that I needed for this, and then finally I crafted my +5. And when I went back to my equipment page, I noticed that I was like, wait, why is my +5 and +4 here? So then I went back, and what I didn't realize was that I needed to have this menu here toggled to actually display accurately the use crafted equipment as material, which basically halves the materials that I needed. And since I didn't have that, I ended up farming for a completely separate +5. And I was like, oh my god, what do I do with this extra +4 now? Let me know in the comments if you guys did the same mistake or a similar mistake, because I gotta know that I'm not the only one that did this. Also, quick shout out to all of the older players or any players that experienced the old crafting system, because this new one is so much better than the previous one. Before, you had to individually craft each recipe to make +2s, +3s, +4s, and just making a +5 was so tedious. And if you started even earlier than that, you remember you actually had to RNG the weapon type. A shout out to anybody that had to experience that era of crafting. So now that I had this extra +4 staff, I was trying to decide, like, should I dismantle it or just keep it as a +4 and use it? Few people were recommending that I give it to kind of like another dark caster, since it is kind of made for dark casters, but at the time I didn't actually have another dark caster. If I dismantled the gear, I'd lose the recipes and the adamantite. You also lose hammers and seals, but I didn't use any for this one at the time, so that didn't really matter too much for me. But I just decided to keep the +4 since I could probably just put it on like any caster and not waste materials. But then something actually happened the next day. So I went to, because there's a couple of missions in here that require you to log in for more than a day to get to the next one. And the previous one, this one here, it actually gives you a guaranteed UR summon ticket. It just gives you one summon. It's a guaranteed UR, but it's not like a select or anything. And what I got from that ticket was actually Black Rose Helena. The universe was basically just telling me to finish that dragon staff and to give it to Helena and just be a dark meta chad. Oh, and another thing for new players, and this was actually something that I missed, but luckily I was streaming at the time. There's actually, you get these 100 shard select unit tickets, and when I was using them, I didn't see, like I was using these ones, they didn't have any 100 cost units on it. If you look at the other select tickets in this footage here, the URs or the 100 cost units were actually at the very bottom. So if you pulled any 100 cost units and you plan to build them, and you probably should at least use these tickets on them, make sure you scroll to the bottom and select whichever 100 cost you use, because I think I wasted one of them because I didn't realize that they were at the bottom. So just make sure you use that properly, because that was a good head start for my Helena. So now that I had Golbez and Helena, all that's kind of left for me was to pick my third dark unit to fit in with the comp, which was either going to be Lumiere, who I got in the beginning, and she's kind of like a quicken haste time mage support unit, or I could use my select ticket for Garvel, who's kind of like, I guess he's just big deep dark boy or something. Diggs and majority of the people I asked kind of said that I should go with Garvel, the more solid unit even without his EX, but that it'll probably be a bit before the weapon came back out versus Lumiere. I think most people would just use her for Quicken if they had her. So I ended up picking Garvel, and literally the next day with the news, Garvel's weapon came back. And I don't know if More the Merrier's weapon is also usable for him, because they mentioned that it also has magic attack and wind. If it has the same magic attack, I might as well just get the wind as well. Why can't I find it? Where is it? I'm like scrolling up and down while talking. So yeah. Oh, and his event quest is back, so it's perfect for me to just be able to easily farm for him and do his story, because I actually don't really know anything about him. But yeah, I picked Garvel thinking that I'd have to wait a bit before his weapon, and lo and behold, his weapon comes back the next freaking day. The universe really did just put the dark meta team in my hands. So yeah, my current plan basically is to just work on these three as my kind of primary content team. And I was thinking that I might also do Ayaka and Engelbert kind of as like a universal tank and healer that I can kind of just put anywhere. And other than that, I'll probably just kind of let the game give me the URs until I can make a comp out of them. And I think in the meantime, I'll probably pick like a couple of elemental teams that I don't think I would use URs on and make select teams out of those. Like fire's not that prevalent, so maybe I'll make like a fire select team. And as for the New Year's event, I'll just skip more and farm for Garvel's weapon. That's pretty much all there really is with that event there. And finally, a few updates on kind of my perspective from the previous video. Now, I actually kind of wanted to apologize because I didn't mention how beginner friendly the story mode is. Because the game starts you with enough resources to build few units, you can easily breeze through the story and get a lot of Vizier and Awakening materials for your units. And because it's kind of relatively easy, you can actually just auto and experience like the cutscenes. So for the most part, the story, like a lot of people do just come play for the story, so they can experience that pretty easily. Remember when I said Trials of Reckoning wasn't new player friendly? Well, I still don't think it is, but that's okay. Like, they don't need to make every content for, like, the point that I was trying to make was that they don't need to make content for new players, but it's more about making the content that they have easier to digest for new players. And one thing that they did, and it wasn't really connected to Trials of Reckoning, it was more connected to their 10 million download campaign, but I felt like the timing of it made Trials of Reckoning feel really nice for a lot of people, but also really nice for a lot of new players, and that was the daily energy that they gave out. Like that, like people that farmed Trials of Reckoning still ended up using pots. I'm pretty sure the energy was very much appreciated for kind of every player, so I think they should definitely do that more often. And that energy actually helped me easily farm the +5 staffs. I know I mentioned how long and tedious farming is. If I couldn't use BlueStack's macro to do it, I probably wouldn't be playing WoTV, which made me realize a point that I didn't make. If they don't want to reduce the amount of grind that players have to do for weapon grinds or gear grind, they should at least consider letting players auto ready and host to auto start. Maybe like have a setting where auto start when there's 2 ready or auto start when there's 3 ready, or just having that flexibility, because not everybody has the ability to macro. And the idea of making players manually repeat the exact same thing thousands of times is, in my opinion, not worth it, not healthy, and should be streamlined better. Anyways, everyone, that's pretty much my update on everything. I hope you guys are enjoying these random kind of tidbit videos. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And also don't forget to vote for your favorite unit. Listen, normally I'm team Balo, but let's be real. If Balo wins, and there's no way, they're just gonna put him in a Santa outfit and call it a day. That, in my opinion, is not very creative. So who do I want to see with all that holiday cheer? Let's give it to our emo looking boy Vistral. Let's go. Woo.